downwind is somehow less technical and more based on the feeling. There is more room to options. By the precision point of view is less technical, because also you are using sails that are made by nylon, so they are moving, they are forgiving. So normally the 1-2 centimeters that is very important upwind, downwind are countless. But there are new things that are getting into the game that somehow are a bit more difficult to explain, because there is anyway a part of the proper downwind sailing that is related to the feeling. The first important thing that is again related to VMG, because we've been taking care about VMG going upwind, forgetting about VMG when reaching, because it's only counting the speed. Now we are again into the VMG mode. And so again is the research of the right balance between the angle and the speed. So sailing with the spinnaker is different than sailing with the gennaker. Because the modern style is going more towards the gennaker, we will be talking more about the gennaker. Anyway, most of the concepts are the same. The biggest difference is that you, unless some particular case, the VMG downwind with the spinnaker, you get working more on the angle, where on the gennaker, as faster is the boat, the more you will try to create, accelerating to create the apparent wind angle rotation. Still, with the gennaker, you are creating that effect. And faster is the boat, more is important. But anyway, every boat and every sail configuration has its ideal angle that creates the best VMG. So the first thing that should be considered is to get to the right angle. How do we get to the right angle? Let's forget, I told you that I don't rely on the instruments. So I don't trust the instrument that is telling me I'm 140, 170, whatever. I don't rely. So the way, and this is independent from the gennaker and the spinnaker, it will happen only at a different angle, but it happens the same thing. If you, let's say that you start with an angle that is for sure too high, and you feel a lot of pressure, the boat is heeling, the boat is fast, okay, but you are not doing the best VMG. And from that situation, you start bearing away. By bearing away, the boat will be slowing down, getting flatter, but still with a nice pressure in the sail. And the person that is getting the better feeling about that is the trimmer. Is the guy that has the gennaker sheet in his hands. And normally, at the top level, who is driving the boat downwind is the trimmer. The helmsman is just following his instructions. The better helmsman is the one that is almost anticipating or being simultaneous and reacting the proper amount of bearing away or laughing, but still, who has the first and better feeling is who has the sheet of the gennaker in the hand, because he feels how the gennaker is reacting. And as soon as you go into a too low angle, you will feel much less pressure in the sheet, but also the boat getting flatter and flatter, or even coming to windward in the case of the spinnaker. And this will coincide with the slowing down of the boat. So that's too deep, too low. And so then there you have to come back. And here the situation becomes similar to upwind, because you need to try to have a stable speed and also a stable heeling. That will be much less than downwind, but still, especially with the spinnaker, you want to have some little heeling because you want to have a little pressure. So the game becomes moving the bow much more than upwind for sure, because especially if there are waves, then there is the playing with the waves, that is another story. At the moment we are in flat water, so you play the angle and the path, because even if the wind is super stable in direction, but is puffy, you will have to react, because if you go straight, you will have a too high angle in the path and a too low angle in the hull. So as every time that you get a path, the boat starts to accelerate, so it's generating, it's changing the apparent wind angle, and you should be following that. But the feeling is in the hands of the trimmer. So normally, the best person on board should be having the spinnaker sheet and telling where to go. But for sure, if you want to have the feeling, you shouldn't have 10 turns around the winch, and when it's time to ease, you ease and nothing happens. You should have the feeling. So the least number of turns around the winch possible for that range of wind, in order not to be falling inside the least. But still, some, maybe also this in some path, because this way you will feel the boat, you will feel, and you will be able to give the helmsman the right instruction, because you will, as much you anticipate this variation and this need to go up and down, you will minimize the angle, you will minimize the variation in the speed, and you will be performing better. Because every time you are slowing down, you are too low and you are giving away some VNG. Every time you are accelerating, you are having a too high angle and you are again giving away some VNG. Among the two, generally it's better to do the mistake and go a little too fast and a little too slow, because to rebuild the speed will take a lot of effort, but still is a mistake. It is not going and following the best VNG. How do we trim the sails in order to get this? Because now I've been talking about the feeling, about the angle. There is, of course, the communication circle that is linked between this time the spinnaker trimmer and the helmsman, mostly. Again, as well as upwind, there can be the need of changing mode. The classical is, we are almost making the mark, okay, low mode, so we can make the mark without the need of 2 jibes. So you go low mode. Or you have someone that is trying to pass over you, so fast mode to protect yourself. So that's a call of the tactician, and there will be a reaction from the trimmer, from both the trimmers. But generally, downwind, the main trimmer is somehow, let's say, secondary, and is following the other. They are inverting the position, the trimmer and the helmsman and the main trimmer, where upwind, the main trimmer is the main person, downwind, the main person is this guy with the arrow in his head. He is the boss. And that's why the choice of this guy should be done by the one that has the better feeling. Because there is no way that you can have a strict indication is really a matter of feeling. Next time you will go downwind, try to first exaggerate. Let's say that this is my VMG. Try before to go a bit higher, then find out where you think, then try to go lower. You will realize that there is a point where you have the right pressure, you have a stable speed, the boat is in the groove. The boat has a groove, and she tells you, but it's a bit different because we're upwind. There is the heeling is a very clear indication, and every single degree of heeling is changing clearly. Downwind, she is speaking very loudly, so you need to be very good in listening her. Upwind, she talks more clearly. Downwind, it needs more attention, more feel. But then, going into the way to trim the sail, regardless that is a spinnaker or a gennaker, what you want is to let him breathe.